Hey everybody, Justin down in the electronics workshop messing around with some amateur radio, commercial radio stuff. These were donated to the workshop. I have a couple of these Motorola XTS 3000 handy talkies. These were quite commonly used in law enforcement, commercial purposes like power companies, which I believe these are where these radios came from. And I've just kind of gone through and I've finally decided that I need to replace this hazed out screen on this particular housing. And it looks like there were quite a few sellers out there that have aftermarket housings available for this series of radio, because apparently they were very, very popular and still are very popular. The reason why I'm putting some more time and effort into this particular radio is because, well, first of all, the screen's hazed out, so it's really hard to see. It looks actually a little bit clearer in the video than it does actually in person. I'm not really sure what caused it, but that's not going to be a problem anymore. Secondly, it's because these are P25 capable, or Astro, as Motorola called it. So you have the C4 FM P25 selectability, as well as some another, like a data burst mode or something along those lines. So very, very useful if you're looking at getting into the digital aspect of some of the ham radio functions, as well as some local listening and monitoring. You can also do that, but do so safely and don't be a dingus. So don't transmit on anything you're not supposed to, is really what I'm saying. So as you can see, the radio does power on. I do have it programmed, which can be a little bit of a hassle if you're not used to commercial radio software requirements and the cables and the terminology. It's kind of a thing. But as you can see in the video, if I'm tipping on, you can see how there's some weird crud or something in there. And I'm not sure if this housing got wet or what happened, but definitely makes it hard to see the screen. Otherwise, the rest of it is in really good shape, so I might try to pull that out and clean it, or do what I can do to maybe solve that problem. But because I didn't, I don't really want to mess around too much, I was able to track down a replacement housing that appears to be like factory, but I'm pretty sure these are definitely aftermarket. So comes with quite a few of the things you'll need. Obviously, you got a new diaphragm keypad, which is awesome. Has a nice display, clear display cover. It does not have any of the internals in this part. Some housings I've seen do include those, so we're going to have to figure out how to transplant the parts from this one to this one. And it comes with some new knobs. Comes with a couple of clear plastic pieces for adding a little bit of a change to it. And that's it. I think this was a little over $20. I was happy to see that it did actually include the Motorola stickers. I don't think they're supposed to. The pictures I saw, they didn't. So it's kind of nice to know that that's the case. It also does come with a feature connector, speaker mic cover, so that's good to know as well. Seems to be pretty rugged, good quality, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and get the battery off of this thing right away and see what it's going to take to get this thing apart. I'm assuming this thing's been apart a few times. Let's zoom out. And let's see about getting this thing apart. It's kind of a massaging process of getting the tabs up. There we go. Now, we got to be careful because we have a ribbon cable that we have to disconnect, so we can't just rip this thing straight out. There's a rubber O-ring gasket that you do have to kind of carefully massage, and it will come free. And there's that ribbon cable right here. Oops, sorry. So what we're just going to go ahead and do is pop that ribbon cable out carefully. Just like that. Now the screen does kind of flop around on these, so you do have to be also careful about that, because we don't want to rip the cable or crack the screen. Put that back in place. And while we're in here, let's give this a little cleanup. Make sure there isn't any debris. So we'll set this to the side for now. And we need to take a look at this. I'm going to just get the pad out of the way. Seems to be in good shape, but it's not nearly as clean as this one, so we'll use that one. So we need to remove the speaker, all this over here, the little board on the side for the push buttons, and the connector that goes to the accessory microphone diddly doop. So let's start by, first of all, let's get the, wow, that's under some spring tension. Let's get that out of the way. I have to see, how do we remove the buttons without damaging them, because I don't know how much pressure you can put on these before you break things. So we'll try about that much pressure. Yeah, that one broke. Shucks. Yeah, they're brittle. Good thing it came with extras. How are you supposed to get these off? Usually they just pull off, but looks like they got some springy clips here. Let's just move those out of the way and maybe it'll come off easier now. There we go. Yep. I got some little springy clips. Does the new knob? No. It does come with this one. It's a harder plastic, which may not be a good idea. But we'll put it back on. This one's still okay. I think we can reuse it if we absolutely need to. That's a shame. That could be glued if necessary. So we need to get this knob off, and let's take a look and see what we're dealing with in the... I probably got people screaming at me right now going, "Don't do it that way." I know. You should tell me how to do it, and then I'll do it that way. Anyway. How in the heck? I mean, I find it hard to believe that these are like one-time installation pieces, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we got that. We got that. We got that. So let's pop this off. think if I just massage those out of the way, I might be able to get this to lift up the entire thing. Holy smokes. There we go. So that comes off like that. And we got the plastic pointer. That comes out. We got an O-ring here. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Probably could stay, but I don't know. Okay, we should be free. I'm gonna just get this out of the way in case I need it. That out of the way. Okie dokie. Let's zoom out a bit. So, how does this all fit in here? Looks like a spring clip. And it slides up. So as long as we're very careful to not tear that ribbon, we'll be in good shape there. That slid up. Is it the same deal on this side? Yes. And that's loose. So now, how does this come out? I see a finger in this corner and a little indentation in the housing that looks like it keeps it in place. And I would assume that's just a clip that holds it in. Maybe the switches come out first. I probably should have watched somebody else do this first. But somebody's got to lead the pack. All right, so we got that out of the way. And now these appear to be loose. And that appears to be loose. So I think with those out of the way, and with these unclipped there, that should then move out of the way. Speaker is floating. So then we should be able to just push all this out. I do see, what is that, like a, there's a ribbon cable behind this. This plastic does need to come out with the whole unit. It's the only way, because behind here is the a ribbon cable for the LED in that corner. So yes, it does look like this comes out as one potential complete unit. So how do I do this without breaking it? There we go. Boy, you just got to apply a little bit of pressure on them to get those plastic fingers to come loose of the housing edge. And it's kind of an uncomfortable amount of pressure that you have to put on it. And then this should just slide out now. Trying not to tear those cables. Because after all, I don't have a spare of this right now. So that's out. Okay. So now we know we need to keep this on the back. So we'll put it back. So there and there. Definitely don't remove this. I just made this way more difficult on myself. There we go. Okay. That's back. A little grommet. All right, now let's transfer this to the new housing. Should be just the exact reverse of what I did to get it out, so slide that in first, get it aligned. Make sure nothing's binding. And there we go. Things look pretty good. Slide that board back in. Get this aligned and slide that back in over on the header for speaker mic and other accessories programming. And just slide it down. Very carefully. And that's locked in. Double check, make sure everything's sitting okay. Good deal. Everything seems to line up quite well. Buttons are free. Okie dokie. Alrighty then. So, what's next? Well, we got to put this on first. Well, I should say the pointer needs to go on, but I'm going to go with the one that all the parts that this one came with. Seems to have a lot more of that clear plastic, which I think will potentially give it a little more illumination because there's LEDs underneath this. Can't forget our O-ring. And then we've got that new okay, right there. Sorry, I'm doing a little bit of this off frame. There we go. That feels good. We can put this on right away, I suppose. But that doesn't click down all the way. I think that O-ring just needs a little massaging to get it to move down. It's all the way in. Sorry, again. So that one fits nicer. I think I'm going to just try to use this if I can. The original is just a little more, it feels more secure. So that's what we'll do. We have reused that because this one's just not quite giving me the flexibility that I need. Okay, so this is all the old stuff. Let's go ahead and get the speaker mounted down. I will admit I'm actually quite impressed with this aftermarket housing. It feels pretty good. For all I know, it's probably the same thing as Motorola. Getting a dog hair out of here. Come on. Okay. Let's put this back together. First thing we need to do is make sure that the gasket is sitting nice and even before we try to put it in the housing. Sometimes it's a good idea to use just a little layer of some lithium grease to help this slide together nicely. But ribbon is in. Tip in the top first. And essentially what you do is you just wiggle it in. Being that this is a new housing, it might be a little snug. Looks good. Just keep an eye on this gasket. Needs to go forward a bit more. There we go. Okay, right here I'm pinching the O-rings, so we're gonna have to work on that a little bit more. Excuse me. Just trying to slide it forward. goes. There we have it. Gasket's not rolled up. I do notice there's a bit of corrosion in here I might try to clean up at some point, but that's the point of that tight O-ring on here, so that if moisture does get in the radio at all or in the battery area, it does not go into the radio. That's why they have all the O-rings and other fun stuff. So, I guess next is putting the knobs on. That doesn't seem right. There we go. Looking good. Third-party battery. Let's pop this on. Fits tightly, nice and secure. Pop an antenna back on it. Oh, that is so much nicer already. Just a tiny little blemish in the upper corner here, and it's not a fingerprint. It's like they have a coating or something on this. Like between, there's like panes of plastic in here, and they might have some coating. But otherwise, it's a nice housing. Feels good. Feels as good as the factory one. For all I know, it probably is. Good deal. I think that will suffice. I'm happy. All right, I've got a couple more of these radios I may order the housings for now that I see how this all goes together, but hope you found this informational, and, you know, don't force it if it's not going to pop right away. Just kind of take a look at it, take a break, whatever you got to do, and then come back to it, and you'll get it. They're very tight connections. So, all right, everybody, thanks for joining me in a nerdy moment and going through this Motorola XTS 3000 and getting a new aftermarket housing put on it. So, we'll catch you in the next one.